Welcome back, everybody. It is tea time with Witch Jodi. Yes, it's 4 o'clock. It's Tuesday, the 18th of February. And let's go. Witch Jodi, the floor is yours.
How are you guys today? I hope everybody is doing great. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit just because it was like blowing my eardrums out. But, um, you know, I've been sitting and thinking about how people have been feeling a little discerned. I can't get the word out today. And nervous with everything lately. So I thought it
You
would be
just you just did a session. You just did a beautiful session that you were telling me about ahead of
oh,
time. Tell me about
that's
how
what
you're
we're
feeling. What are
doing.
you picking up on?
I'm picking up that people are they're nervous. People are really unsettled with everything going on in the world, period. I'm not going to go into too much with
Hmm.
politics, but, it is something that sometimes you have to talk about. And people are scared. I'm just going to put it out there. People are very scared. They're nervous. They're not liking things, the uncertainty.
What are they
You
bringing up with their fear, right? Because
fear,
like I think if we can dial in with that fear and we can energetically hopefully work on it.
well, people are afraid. They're looking at what's going on with healthcare, is a big thing. Social security is a big thing. Food prices are a big thing.
Mm.
Um, people from our queer community are very nervous right now because of all the stuff being said out there with the Project 2025 that's been kind of front and center. You see it on all sorts of social platforms. They're talking about it. Um, how people who have always had a voice are being stifled. They don't have a voice. I mean, look at the people that are either quitting or being let go in media. And I'm talking big media, like your MSNBC, your CNN, your, whatever news that you listen to. There's been big changeovers, and people are real nervous about that because they're like, we don't know what to do. How do we protect ourselves, let alone how do I protect maybe my family? And even if they're not living nearby, the community, the country, the world, so to speak. So I had a class this weekend on protection magic and how you can do different things to protect yourself and how you can have a voice. With people being nervous like that, it's important to be heard and get your voice out there. And I'm sure a lot of people are still like, oh crap, do I have to leave the country? And then other people going, oh crap, well, how can I leave the country? I can't afford it. I can't get the proper, paperwork, that kind of stuff. So a lot of fear, there's just a lot of fear. And I am not going to tell somebody to leave or not leave. That is completely up to your own choice.
Yeah.
Um, but I'll tell you, it crossed my mind, what do I do? How can I help? Um, I'm not leaving. The reason I'm not going to leave is because I am a stable person in the community, and a lot of people come to me for guidance and help. I'm going to be here for you. I'm not going to go anywhere. Um, God, God forbid, God's forbid, it gets really crazy and really bad where you would have to leave because of some type of a war. I don't know where I sit on that at this point in time. I mean, if
But
I had
Witch Jodi,
to, I
where do
would.
we go?
That's
Like,
the thing. Where are you going to go?
okay, because you're our neighbors to the north, our neighbors to the south. I mean,
Well,
where's the beautiful little island that we can go and
that's the thing. It's like I will put out there for people who are really nervous and are afraid for their lives. And we're lucky here in Minnesota. We're in a blue state. We're in a really good blue state. Um, but for those that are not and are really, really scared, they are taking asylum people in Canada. And they are, I believe, down in Mexico. I don't know enough about Mexico because personally I would love to go there because it's warm. But Canada is our closest for here in the Twin Cities area. And they are taking asylum seekers. And it can be due to your religion. It can be due to the fact that you are from the queer community and you're afraid. It can be for a political asylum at this point. And you may not even have the paperwork. Maybe you only have a birth certificate, no passport. They're not denying you. They are not denying you with just having a passport. Or, I mean, I'm sorry about that, with just having a birth certificate. I did do the research. I did look at the links. I did check this out before I state that. So there are avenues for people who are really afraid. Um, again, you have to make that decision. Nobody can make it for you. I don't feel that it's, for me at this point, the time to go anywhere. I don't, there's a lot of people out on different social medias. They're like, oh, you got to go now or else, so many days, 53 days for, Mr. Bad Mustache Man. I don't even want to say his name.
Bad Mustache Man. Who are you talking about?
1930s. What brought us?
Oh gosh, I was like Bad Mustache Man. I'm
Bad
like, okay,
Mustache Man.
I'm 10 minutes behind. I'm back. Thank you. I'm back. Okay, Bad
No,
Mustache Man.
we
Nope.
don't want to even say that name. But, people are, they talk about that on the medias, and some of it is scaring the crap out of others. I think that, a lot of that things with when you're out in the world and you're looking at the social media, there's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of false propaganda. A lot of people I've noticed too, and I'm sure Kelly, you've seen this, without fact checking, which is kind of going away with the meta stuff. So your Instagram, your Facebook, your viewer looking is gone down, because that's very disheartening for people, because you want to hear the real truth. So you don't want to hear crap. You need to know the real information. So I focus on the real information. I multiple check my sources, make sure that it's not just hearsay. I'm double checking things. So, what I have seen right now, Canada is probably the best place to go. It's probably the easiest, but I know that you can go to Portugal, and different areas in Spain are taking people in. Germany was, I don't know, after what happened yesterday with all the different meetings over in Europe, I don't know where that stance is, because I have not looked into it. It's still too fresh. You got to give it a few days for things to kind of settle down and see what the outcome is.
So what can we do if leaving is not an option, a viable option right now, whether it is family, money, job, anything like that? So I know with you just taught your class, what are 3 takeaways that you'd like to share with our audience
The
that
big
they can do?
takeaways, and I'm going to, especially for my ladies, please make sure you have documentation. If you cannot afford to go get a passport, that's fine. Make sure you have a birth certificate, and they have a specific name, but I'll say it's embossed. You want to have your birth certificate with that like pressed down stamp in it. Make sure you have one of them. You can go, if you know what state you're born in, you can go to any county in the state and request that. It's like maybe $20, $25, something like that to get that. If you are married, you should have a copy of your marriage license. If you've been divorced, you should have a copy of your divorce decree, especially if you change your name back to your maiden name or you've gotten remarried.
Right.
God help me. I have to have 6 of them, guys, 6, because I've been married. I'm on my 3rd marriage. So I have to have 6 and I have all of them. But you should have that just in case the so-called ICE shows up on your door, especially if you are not stark white skinned like me. That is something that you should really think about, just having on premises so that you can prove yourself, because it seems like some of these agencies are taking a little bit of liberties. I'm going to say that, which is unfortunate. We don't like that. So make sure you're doing that. But be aware, always be aware of your surroundings. Don't be, I'm going to borrow my phone here for a minute. Don't be walking out to your car talking on your phone. Phone down, phone off, watch what's going on around you, be looking around, walk to your car, open your car, get in your car, lock the door, then put your key in the ignition and check your phone and stuff. You just should always know what your surroundings are. And that's at any given time. That has nothing to do with what's happening in the here and now. That should be any given time for safety purposes.
Right.
But a lot of people have changed that because we've become so attached to our cell phones that we don't even think anything of it. We're walking and video talking all the time. You shouldn't be doing that, because you just never know. You can trip over a curb, okay? We
Right.
can make it simple. You should be doing that. Other things that you can be doing too, build a small community network. Who are your close friends that you can talk to just to de-stress? You want to, talk to somebody just because you're freaked out about something that's going to listen to you. There's a lot of ladies out there right now. And again, you're going to see a lot of this. Oh my gosh, it's The Handmaid's Tale. Okay, I watched the movie back in the 1980s, like 1987, 88, and when it was in movie theaters, and it wigged me out enough that I never watched the series. I have no intention of watching the series. But women are scared. Are we going to go down to this where we don't have rights anymore? I don't know if they keep going down this way. We hope our checks and balances with our judicial system and with, Congress, with your Senate and House, is going to stop all that. But you don't know. I mean, it seems like it's kind of gone off the rails a little bit. So just make sure you have your documentation, number one. Make sure you can make this little network of friends so that you have somebody to talk to. Again, a lot of ladies feel like when they're talking to their spouse or their partner, they get poo-pooed off. I've had that problem with my husband. I got to be honest. So it's like, we've talked about, different things. Let's look at mental health. That's like the freshest thing on the table. Oh, we're going to make these wellness camps. Yeah, that didn't go so well way back when in the day. Being a nurse, taking somebody off any type of an SRRI, this is a serotonin reuptake inhibitor that helps you with depression. You do not cold stop a medication like that. Oh my goodness sakes, the side effects, no. You will see suicide rates going up. I know this is a touchy subject, guys, but you will see suicide rates going up. You are going to see people who go off of antipsychotics. Like you hear people talk, you just try and take me off my lithium. Tell me how that's going to go for you. It could get scary. Again, is this propaganda? They're just saying stuff to scare the shit out of people? Probably. Realistically, I'm sure that insurance companies are going to have a field day. Pharmaceutical, big pharma is going to have a field day with that because that's big money for them to be losing. So I'm sure that will be niched and not happen. But again, you got people that are, I call it the clown show. I'm sorry, but I do because you don't know who's leading who. I can't hear you.
I'm
Kelly.
muted. I'm like, I had little dogs pop in while you were talking, and they're like, I wish I could like show the camera of the bulldog who is like sitting right like there.
Oh yeah.
Well, you were starting with the man with the crazy mustache, and now you're switching over to. So I'm just trending and talking.
Yeah, it's the clown show right now. So it's just because I don't want to say names.
No, don't say names.
Nope.
We're only in the second show. We don't need to be pulled.
No names. We're not going there. But I just want people to not be so scared of those things being taken away. That takes time. And again, there's a lot of things in place to prevent that from happening. But that was a discussion I had with my husband. Like if they did that. So my son, who is disabled, he is autistic. He has got severe depression. It's called major depression with suicidal ideations, which means that he thinks about suicide 24/7. Not acting.
You guys, I'm not laughing and looking. My husband just came off screen to grab the bulldog with an ice cube. So while you're saying that, I just want you to know that I'm not having that. But now the room is clear and the bulldog has the ice cube. So now we can honor what you're saying.
But it's true. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who have this kind of stuff. And so I just had a discussion with my husband. If they take away everything for my son, he would become very suicidal. At that point, I would have to probably leave to take him up to Canada because he's got to have medication. And that's another thing. You can order meds from outside the country, guys. You can. So, think about that, to be prepared. Talk to your doctors. If you are on medications, talk to them. See if you can get a 3-month supply at a time,
or a 6.
Or a 6 month, again, I don't know your financial situation, what you can and can't afford, but have those conversations now while we still have that option to have the conversations. So
I like that.
A great way.
I like that. So it's being aware. So I actually just have this. It's pay attention. Right?
This must be the brand new one. Woo!
Right?
Yes, pay attention to, everything. pay attention to your news media as long as you know it's a good source. Pay attention, listen to what people are saying around you. There's a lot of things with people being frightened. There are a lot of things being said, even in your workplaces.
Right.
So,
I know.
you don't have to engage. You
Nope.
do not have to engage. That is like a rule of thumb when you play like, you know, different board games like Battleship or,
Yeah.
any of those kind of Risk or any of those things. Keep your game plan in your head. Know what it's going to be. Don't necessarily voice it. It's a way to strategize so that you're paying attention, things, but you don't have to go, oh crap, at this point, this is what I'm running. You know
And
what I mean?
before you panic, like I love going back to the beginning of our conversation, do the
Yep.
fact check.
Do the
So
fact check.
go with your trusted media, but maybe go on the media that might be in a little different frequency or
Yeah.
area that you might be curious about that you've maybe
Yeah.
never heard about. I get a lot of my news not from the US.
No.
I'll listen to the US and then I'll go to the BBC or I'll go to
BBC.
this or I'll go to
Yeah.
that. So like and then you have discernment. I was told that I need to have discernment today.
Discernment.
But then you
Yeah.
have discernment on, okay, this person's saying this person's saying this person's saying this. And
To look
then
out.
then talk to your trusted circle, like you were just talking about,
Exactly.
like, right? And then
Exactly.
trust, and then go inward, and
You
then
have to.
trust.
And
Yeah.
another thing too, you guys, is it's something I was taught years ago, and this is something that I'm going to say out one name. I pulled this from Lori Cabot because she's very adamant about this. Don't be constantly thinking of the negative.
Yeah.
Don't be sitting talking nonstop about the negative because you're putting that into fruition. You're putting
Yeah.
that out into the universe, and the universe is going, oh, hey, this is what they want. No, that's not what you want because you're worried about it. So think positive. I'm not
Right.
saying don't pay attention, don't be aware. I'm saying
Right.
think positive, think the good things, think the things you want to come into fruition because that will help. The more you are saying stuff like, well, the judicial system is going to handle it or Congress is going to handle it, that's not going to happen.
No.
That would be a better thing, a better route to take than going off the handle and going in the opposite direction where you are fleeing. Again, every person has got different circumstances. You have to do what's right for you and your family. Um, but protecting yourself, like I said, have those documentations,
Yeah.
at
That's
home.
really smart.
You can put it in you know what? And if I don't have anything little, but you could put it on a little zip drive. So if you are out and about, you're traveling, you're doing stuff like, okay, I'm leaving for Hawaii in 2 days. What day is today? Wednesday. 3 days. I'm going to be leaving on Friday. Um, I'm not going to take all that documentation with me if something would
No.
happen.
No.
But what you do is you can do it in a PDF. You could email it to yourself. You could pull it up on your phone if you needed
Right.
to. You know what I mean? You can have stuff that way so that you have an easy, accessible situation. Especially if you're traveling abroad, because people do. It's we're coming up on spring break. People are going to go to Mexico. They're going to go to the Caribbean. They're going to go wherever else they want to go for this kind of stuff. So you can have it with you to be safe, if in case. Um, because if you do go out of the country and you're doing this for travel and enjoying, what if, I don't know, do you remember during 2020 how they grounded flights for a while because of the epidemic?
Yeah.
What if they ground flights right now because, don't think I'm not afraid to fly right now with everything going on with the planes and stuff, and I'm like, oh, but again, I digress. I get away from that and I think positive. It's going to be no turbulence for me.
Right, but then like
It's going to be
here's
good,
the other
good,
thing.
good.
The
You
the,
know,
the and the it's interesting how we've had the planes, but then what someone pointed out to me is that do you know how many flights
a lot.
are
Use
are,
paper.
are like every day and every minute and every this and that, and even with the increased accidents that have happened lately, it's still very, very, very
It's
safe.
it's very minute in the big scheme of things
Right.
because if you really want to break that down, again, my father was a pilot. No, granted, he died when I was very little, but my father was a pilot, and he always said the safest way to travel is to fly. There are more cars on the road than there are airplanes in the sky. I realized the FAA was under, they were taking in and taking people out and all this kind of stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
Um, the one like the most fresh one, because we're from the Twin Cities. It's a big Delta hub. We all saw what happened up in Toronto with Delta coming in, and all of a sudden it's on upside down and fire and all that. First and foremost, yes, there were injuries. No one died.
No one died. I
No
was
one
just about to say that. I was like, that puppy
And
flipped
yep.
and there was a ball of fire and everybody walked away. Now there was some
Yeah.
injured, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and let's hearts go out to anybody that was a
Absolutely.
part of it, impacted,
Absolutely.
whatever.
And absolutely, because it's still traumatic. It's still scary. And again, you're right. People were injured. Nobody wants to be injured, and we send out all, prayers and positive thoughts and healing to everybody who has been affected in this manner. But when you break it down, this plane was coming in. It was very windowed. It was the showers of the wind that did it. The particular plane that came, it was a connection flight, so it was a smaller one. It was still a jet, but it was smaller, and they can only handle so much, mile per hour or knots with the side wind. And if I can remember correctly, what they said was they could handle up to 25 knot crosswind, and it was a 35 mile an hour cross, or whatever.
Oh,
It was like
yeah.
off by 10. And so
Right.
it was the angle that they came in, and it just, when they came in, it just caught that wing just right, where
And
it
it whoop.
probably, instead of the wheels hitting right, it probably tilted it just right. And that's why it all went crazy. But again, this can happen. But why are they publicizing so much? Think about how us as society has been, everybody's like, oh, I'm leaving the country. I'm scared. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. It's a really good way to frighten you so that you don't go anywhere too. So there's a lot of this stuff going out. Another thing too is social media has gotten a lot different. If there was a plane crash, now if you and I remember way back when the Milan plane went down, I don't even know how many years ago that was, we didn't know about it right away. It took a while before people knew about it. And then look how long it took before they actually found wreckage. I mean, my God, it was years. I mean, it wasn't months, years. It was like a long time before they actually had proof that it was that plane that had went down.
Right.
And I don't know if they've ever fully, I don't know if they ever retrieved the black box to find out more about it or not.
But with the Delta one, someone could have gone Facebook Live while they were hanging upside down. I mean,
right.
there's just
Well,
such a difference.
they did, because I did see some people. There was a lady who's like, so I just crashed in my plane and I'm hanging upside down right now when we landed here in Canada. And you had people outside when they came out of the plane, and they were turning around and they were doing the Facebook thingy and doing that. I even saw one where they were like at one of those park and wait things, and they were recording the flight coming in and actually caught the crash. So there's so many more people out there doing the recording and stuff. Think about our people who are going out and doing protests on President's Day. People were going out and doing protests all over, like all over the country. Um, I don't feel I saw a lot of that compared to some of the other stuff I saw. So again, is that being censored? I don't know.
Right.
I'm sure it is to a point, but I know that here in the Twin Cities, there were people at the Capitol, there were people marching, whatnot. So it was a good turnout from my understanding. It was too cold. I don't do cold. That's why I'm leaving. Of course, it's going to be warm when I'm gone, but you know. But yeah, again, it's fear. And so, how do we protect ourselves? What can we do for ourselves? Rosemary. So I wanted to talk about rosemary. Rosemary is such a protective herb. So if you're cooking, you know what? Hot dish time, right, guys? Casseroles, hot dish, whatever you want to call it. I call it hot dish. When you're making hot dish, add a little salt in there, because salt is protective. Add a little rosemary into your meal. Make an Italian dish. And as you're doing it, stirring, I want you to stir it clockwise, because
I
that's
like that.
bringing things toward you.
Okay.
Okay. And I want you to think about being safe and protected in my home. I'm safe and protected in my community. I'm safe and protected in my state. I'm safe and protected wherever you want to be. Okay.
Right.
You're doing stuff like that. You're putting that out into the universe, because you're constantly thinking about it. With every time you stir, for those of you guys that bake and cook, anytime you stir, every single time you go around, you're thinking that same thought process every single time. You got to
Yeah.
stir it in a little bit, right? So you want to do that, and that's going to help bring that into fruition for you. Um, you know, Rosemary, you can get sprigs of rosemary. So right now, obviously we're not growing any, but you can go to the grocery store and you can get sprigs of rosemary and get them fresh. You can hang them by your door, just like my little hat behind me.
Yeah.
That way. You can hang a sprig of rosemary by your front door, just inside that front door. It's going to give you and offer you protection. Another thing I do that I have in my front door is I have this. It's a very decorative dish. It's antique, and I have it sitting by my front door. And do you remember the potpourri phase in the 80s and 90s? Okay, similar to that. But I take Himalayan salt and put in there because Himalayan salt. I add rosemary into it. I throw a little bit of hibiscus into it because hibiscus, again, it's healing. Okay, healing is what I'm looking for. And it also brings in a little bit of love because, a little bit of love is nice too when we're wanting to protect. And then I put a little bit of different crystals in there. Again, I add a little black tourmaline, I'll add a little bit of clear quartz crystal, a little bit of black obsidian, all protective. And I even put a little amethyst in there and just put little, what are they called? Chips. Just a little.
You
bit
have
of
a
chips.
little Jodi of love right by your front door.
I do. And I stick it in there. And I stick it right there, and it cleanses the area. And it just reminds you when you're coming in, you got to drop the BS at the outside front door. You can't bring it in. That's what I'm working with. And anybody can do that. It's decorative. So if you're in the closet and you're not into witchcraft or anything like that, totally fine.
Yeah.
I just want you to be able to have something there, and it's going to give you that sense of protection. It's going to give you that sense of love. And it does really help, if you wanted to talk black salt. Now, I bless my black salt. Different people make it different ways, but let me tell you the most easiest way to make it. Little bit of charcoal. So you can use a charcoal briquette.
Yeah.
Okay. And scrape off some of the charcoal and put it in like mortar pestle because you're going to grind it, right?
Yep.
Or if you have a fireplace, you do bonfires, take some of the charred wood and put that in there and break it down so that you get like almost like a black fine, powder. And then you're going to add your salt. Everyday table salt, guys. Everyday table salt. Do you want to use Himalayan salt? That's fine.
What's the charcoal do? Is that cleansing or protecting, or what is it?
Cleansing and protecting.
Well, and shoot, it's a two for everybody.
And the purpose that you're doing that, when you mix it together, you now have black salt. Okay. Black salt is extremely protective. It's going to take away all the bad juju. Okay. It does cleansing, but I use it more for protection. It's going to stop negativity from crossing a barrier. So if you're at home, I don't care if you're in an apartment, I don't care if you own a house. You can do a little sprinkle of black salt across your threshold, your door threshold. If you have a rug outside your door, please don't let it say welcome. You don't know what you're welcoming in. Don't put a sign. Say, have a great day, whatever. You can sprinkle a little bit of it underneath that, so if you're in an apartment, you think your hallway in an apartment, you can sprinkle a little bit underneath that mat. It's not going to hurt the carpeting or anything. It'll get dirty. I'm going to, a little bit, but you just a little sprinkle across. It doesn't have to be a thick line or anything like you see on the movies. Just a little bit will do ya. You can even put them on your door, your windowsills too. But it protects you, gives you this barrier. When you feel that you have a lot of negative energy. So a lot of people come to me and be like, oh, my house is haunted and there's this negative entity in my house and and saging doesn't work. Can I give you a little secret? Saging is never going to fully work to get the ghosts out of the house.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. But you can talk to the spirit nicely and ask them to leave and then go. I get a kick out of that. I just throw that out there. But you can use black salt when people have something really negative that they feel it's like family trauma, anything like that is created this negative energetic force in their home. Black salt is really, really potent.
I love that. I'm like taking notes here. I'm like down here like taking notes.
I'm gonna make her a witch yet. You just wait. I'm gonna make her a witch.
I know. I'm ready.
Sorry, I had to have a little bit of water.
Grab the water. Everybody, water time. Hydrate.
Water time. Wait, I'm going to turn my turtles around.
We didn't have teacups this time. Okay, water bottles. Water time.
I wanted some water today. I didn't want to do tea because I'm very parched. I'm very dehydrated. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
tea is going to dehydrate me more. I gotta have the water today. Next time I can't have tea. I won't have teacups next, guys, because I'm gonna be in
So
Hawaii.
let's talk about, because we do need to wrap up
Yeah,
soon, because we've had this beautiful. No, I think today's discussion is not what we planned, but I think it was organic and beautiful and
it is.
really timely and really needed.
Before
Let's tell
before we
everybody
move
where.
on,
Oh yeah,
before we move on, I really want to say if you want to do something for your community and you
yeah.
feel like you want to do something a little bit more potent, like for your neighbors, whatever. If you can get yourself some lavender, some black salt, go out to the I'm gonna say the crossroads. Go to your corner.
Yeah.
Go to your corner. At the end of the street where you have, you got a cross corner, anywhere where you got a cross corner, go sprinkle a little lavender, a little black salt, and just put out in the universe. I am sending out protection for my neighborhood or
Yeah.
my community. That's all you got to do. It helps you to protect beyond just your house barrier. It's going out and about. You can do the same thing with that kind of stuff on your property lines. It does not have to be your door. You can do your property lines. I just wanted to add
Wait,
that.
how can we do the
That's
whole
all.
world? Like, how could we
So
just?
collectively, what you need to do, um, if you are on the TikTok, okay, you can follow different people. One of my favorite people that I love to follow, his name is Riot Adams. He's hilarious. And they have got a date and a time, and it's coming up in March, and it's collective date and time where people are going to do, if you are a witch, they're going to be doing some workings for protection on a
Mm,
specific date and time. And so they've got it geared up, and you have to go to his LinkedIn, and it literally will have, for the state of Minnesota, this is your date and time. For the state of Wisconsin, this is your date and time. State of California. So they do have some different things like that. Collectively as a community, get to know your people, gather, go out for coffee. I changed my coffee cauldron to cackle, and what is it called? Cauldron and cackle. I just changed the name because somebody else has a coffee cauldron and I didn't want to impede on them. So we get together once a month and just come in and just, excuse my language, but shoot the poo, you know what I mean? And talk about anything and everything. But it's a great way to meet people in the community, in the resource that has the same thought processes. And I'm already starting to see another thing I'm telling people to do, please call or email your state representatives, even if you're in a blue state, because what I am being told by our actual representatives is without having those emails and without having those phone calls to come back into Congress and say, but my people are saying XYZ,
yeah, they need documentation. They need
that
data.
documentation. Very important for us to be doing that. Very important, even in the blue states, guys, even in the blue. I want you out there doing that. It would be very imperative to do that right now. So, get your voices out there, be heard. That's my thing on protection, to help yourself, your community, and also look for resources. Um, Please also, side note, with the extreme cold, please be careful. So resources, check in. Like here in town, we've got Valley Outreach. There's different places, per county that has resources on their actual, website when you go to their website, which will have different resources. So do that. TC Pagans is great. The Twin City Pagan, like they're the ones that do Paganicon and Pagan Pride. They have got different things too, where you can find out different areas to gather and meet. You can always check us out. Watch me on our Facebook, on Instagram. Month of March, I don't think we're going to do our cackle and cauldron. Oh, good Lord, it'll have to be at the very end of the month because I'm gone pretty much the whole month of March between different things and events. So it'll probably be the last Sunday of the month. But we are going to do that, or it'll be the very beginning of April. But you're welcome to come. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. I always ask, hey, if you've got a donation, I can give it to Valley Outreach. Great. And I'll let you
Right.
know beforehand what we're looking that the community is in need for. But look for these things. Go to social media. There's a lot of like different things that offer free get-togethers where you can work together and talk to one another and support one another.
Right.
Uh, find your people. Find your
Find your
people.
people. I love that. Everyone find your people. Find your
Mhm.
people.
Absolutely. So what else did you want to say, Miss Kelly? Because I
I
know
think
what you
today was
say.
powerful. Well, I want to promote where when your next show is going to be, with much aloha. And I think today was a really good standalone show of just talking about supporting ourselves, supporting others, supporting our community, and things we can do to protect ourselves in times of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm. And then our next show will be on March 4th.
Yep.
4 p.m. here. It'll be noon for me. I'm just going to let you know, but that's okay. I'm going to be doing it in Hawaii, and I'm gonna gather some cool different herbs or flowers from Hawaii, and I will showcase them. And I'm going to do it live right from my condo out there. So
Do you
yeah,
make your own little Hawaiian front door altar?
I do when I'm out there. I have to. I don't have the pretty stuff because I got to take with what I got.
No,
So
just your travel. Just
it's
turn your travel altar into your
I
beautiful.
could do that. I could do that. But otherwise, I take a coffee cup and I put my stuff in it and I set it inside the door on the floor on
That's what
my
I would do.
condo.
I think that's great.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be fancy.
No, no, it's just what I do when I'm out there, and yeah. So you won't see a lot of classes by me personally over then. Oh, I'm so sorry about the microphone. I bumped it. Sorry, guys. I'm getting used to this. I'm not used to
No,
having.
that's what it's, do you know what? It's a part of, I will tell everyone, it's a part of your how you communicate.
Yeah,
And it's very heart-centered. You do that a lot. I
I
mean, since
do.
I've known you, you just when you're trying to hit a point that's very hard, you just do that. It's just your connection to heart, your connection to it's beautiful. It's just hard when your mic is right there.
And I talk with my hands.
You do.
But that is a my mother says it's from my heritage. My mom's side of the family was primarily German, and I get a kick out of it because I did the 23andMe or whatever the heck it was, and it said I was 75% Swedish. And mom's like, "Nope, I'm 100% German." And I'm like, "Well, something didn't not no."
Yeah, there might be a little secret friend that did a little shimmy over to
Or
another secret
or
friend and
somebody just didn't want to admit that they weren't all from Germany. Who knows, But DNA doesn't lie. I'm going to put it that way.
you're
But
the
yeah.
nurse.
So my mom said that was the German trait. All of us talk with our hands, and
You're
but
just
I
a
know a
very
lot of
giving communicator. Like
I
that's
am.
that's my thing is like you're very present when you're with
I am.
Witch Jodi. You are there. And even if you're multitasking, she holds space for you and she's there with you. And I think that's what makes you a beautiful nurse and a beautiful business owner and a beautiful mom and a beautiful wife and a beautiful soul on the planet.
And a beautiful Oma. I'm an Oma.
I forgot the Oma.
Oma is German for grandmother, so I'm an Oma.
You are an Oma.
And I'm taking my grandbaby to Hawaii with me, so God help me.
You are how old are we?
He's 3. He
Oh,
will be 4. He will
that's
be
a
4
fun
2
age
days.
though.
Yeah, he'll
That's
be
a
like
fun
4.
age. We
He
took my
turns
son there when he was 4.
he turns 4 2 days after he gets home from Hawaii.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be no, it's gonna be great. I am really looking forward to this. My daughter's never been, my son has, but it's my husband and I, my son Justin, my daughter Bailey, my grandson Thomas, and then True, who's like a housemate. He helps me with Justin. He's like a PCA. So all of us are going out there, and we've got some different activities. We're going to a whole bunch of different waterfalls. We're going to do hiking. We're going to do swimming. Seeing obviously the whales in nature. And I swim with my sea turtles all the time. So Thomas is just like, how do you swim with the sea turtles? I say, oh, Oma will show you.
Mhm.
She'll show you. You'll see. So yeah, it's going to be lovely. And I'm at peace out there. I mean, I really go out there and I'm going to recharge. I got to come back, and I'm sorry about the glare. I did get my glasses fixed. I got my new glasses, Kelly, and they are glare free. No, they're not. I can see
Don't
my
worry about it.
computer screen, um, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because next month is busy. I mean, I'm gone in Hawaii. Me personally, I go out there on the 21st. I don't come back home until March 12th. I get home, and then I turn around and boom, it's Paganicon, like back to back, pretty much. So yeah, be gone a lot this month, but that's okay. We do it. You know,
That's okay.
I'm always here for you, you guys. If you have questions, if you are nervous, if you're concerned, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me at midwestwitchery@gmail.com. You can come to the store here at 324 Main Street South, Stillwater. It's inside the Grand Garage. I own 3 suites. I call it Suite 7. You'll see the big, beautiful oak doors with all the purple lights, and it says Midwest Witchery. You'll be able to find me very easily. You can call us here too at 651-342-1833. Follow us on social media, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook under Midwest Witchery and Healing. And I'm also on TikTok, which is Midwest Witchery Healing. MN, I think, is what the handle is on that. But I'm here for you. You have questions? Call me, talk to me, email me. I'm happy to try and help you find resources if you need it.
Yeah.
I'm here for the community.
You create a safe space.
I do. I
So
really
no matter
do.
who you are and who you voted for and what your beliefs are, go see Witch Jodi and just
Yeah. I don't care
be.
what side somebody is on a political party. I want people to feel safe within
Yeah.
their own home and in their own skin, being safe within. So for me, it is about just being here for you and listening. I got great ears. I can listen to you and help you feel better. That's what I do. That's what I do.
You also do private sessions as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
If you want to book a time with me, again, March is going to be rough, but you can book time with me come April. And toward the end of March, I will be available. And it's called Tea Time with Witch Jodi. You go in under the booking. So you go to my website, which is www, Midwest Witchery and Healing.com, or no, MidwestWitcheryHealing.com. There's no and in there. And then go under bookings. You're going to do the specialty booking, and that's where you'll see me. You will be able to book, which is called, that's why we call our show Tea Time with Witch Jodi, because, that's what I do. And you can book mediumship with me, which is talking to the deceased. You can do an herbalism situation with me, and I'll do herbalism with you and teach you different things holistically. You can book Akashic records with me, and I can help you understand your past lives. You can book just about anything with me. So, and I do half hour or full hour increments. So you can book me that way, and we'll figure it out and work it out for you. For those of you who are not in the area and cannot get to the store, I am willing to do it via Zoom or Google Meet. So, don't feel like you can't book with me.
Right.
And if you're having a hard time booking that session, sometimes it won't let you, because if I am not available because of travel and whatnot, you can't book me. Call the store. We'll take down the information. And usually my son is the one retrieving the messages. So he'll reach out to me and go, Mom, so-and-so wants to have a session. I get your phone number. I end up calling you back, and I get your email, and I work it out with you so that I can get you booked in. So I don't want you to worry about it. I'll get you figured in.
There she goes. She's taking care of you. And you can always get your Edge magazine at Midwest Witchery and Healing.
Yes,
So there.
we carry them. And they're free. Come on in and get them.
Come on in and get them. I'm making the fake tree go. Okay.
That's okay.
Parting words, Witch Jodi, before we say goodbye.
I want you to remember you're loved. I want you to take time for yourself and sit in any emotion you have. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be afraid. Don't let other people discredit your feelings. Take a minute, sit with it, but know that you are always going to be heard. Even if your family isn't listening to you, there's others in the community that will. Do what you need to do to feel safe for yourself. If that means making a go bag, then make one, even if you don't ever have to use it. If that means having a plan, then have a plan. If it means just doing nothing and staying home and hunkering down, that's okay too. Do what's right for you, okay? Nobody gets to dictate that for you. This is your life. You get to choose it. You get to enjoy it. Do what you need to do. And know that we're here if you need anything.
Listen to Witch Jodi. We'll see you soon. Explore your higher consciousness with the Edge Media Platform. We're a multimedia platform dedicated to connecting curious teachers and seekers in a safe, welcoming space. Dive into spiritual growth with our print magazine, digital content, podcasts, and in-person experiences. Whether you're seeking wisdom or sharing it, we're here to inspire and uplift your journey, here, there, and everywhere.